Hello everyone, welcome to Tech in 10. Today we're going to be talking about 10 minutes on tips for using Outlook and Teams across all your devices. So hopefully we'll get you some practical tips you can take away from this. If you've got any questions, please use the Q&A button at the top of the screen. But let's get started. So what we're going to be talking about today is cross-platform. So that could mean PC, Mac, iOS, Android, whatever your flavor is, and managing emails across those different devices because it's essential to be productive regardless of what device we use. So Microsoft Outlook has been on a mission to try to create this seamless cross-platform management of all your emails, the calendar and contacts, so that you can use it on your phone, your tablet, or your computer regardless of what type of device that is. So, taking it one step forward, you can also integrate it with Microsoft Teams and you can help get the most out of using Outlook across different devices, depending on how your internal communications look. So, let's have a little bit of a look into that. So, using Outlook on mobile will help you when you're on the move. So, whether it's iPhone, Android, the Outlook app is pretty consistent across these, and it gives you a lot of the features that you also see in the desktop counterpart, like the focused inbox there, which is quite valuable. And what it allows you to do is to stay connected on the go. So the Outlook mobile app allows you to respond to emails, schedule meetings, manage your calendar, and it's all designed in a way that's supposed to be very low touch, less clicks, swipes, as it were, so that you can keep up to date with what's going on when you're not at your desk. As I mentioned before, the focused inbox, if you're not using this, it's a great way to prioritize your email. Some people don't like it because they can't see all their emails and they can't stay in control of it. But with the volume of emails we're seeing nowadays, it can be handy to be able to put the focused stuff in one spot and the non-focused in another, and to try and manage that using the built-in tools that Microsoft use to minimize the non-important emails being front and center, and taking our attention away. So they'll go off to the other tab. And this carry forward across the devices when you're using Outlook for iOS or Android or on your Mac or PC. So very handy to keep on top of what the important emails are during the day. Quick actions are really helpful as well. So you can use quick actions to tidy up emails. I use this a heap. So either for me, I use moving and deleting are the two key ones. But you can customize these in the actions, as you can see here. So it allows you to select which one you want to do, and it just depends on what your flavor is. So definitely a very easy way of managing your emails so that you can see it how you want to see it, and hopefully get your inbox to a inbox zero state. So some synchronization tips. So here are some tips to keep everything in the same place. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're using the same account across all devices to keep everything in sync. So use the same Microsoft account, and this will allow you to access all your email, calendar, and contacts to one copy, one place. They're all going to look and feel the same. So years gone by when we didn't have this type of thing, we'd have sent items in different places depending on which device you sent it through, and it's really difficult to manage. So using both Microsoft Live infrastructure for personal, Microsoft 365 for businesses, and the tools, you can really synchronize it across device, and it means that you're going to see everything everywhere all the time whenever you need it. So that's really important. Sync settings. So depending on how you want to work with your mail, by default they'll synchronize and there'll be what's called a push notification. So they'll come across to you and synchronize automatically as things arrive. But if you don't like that to come through, or you have data restrictions depending on where you are or whether you're overseas, you can set that to be manual, or you can reduce the frequency just to save on that data or to your working preferences. So definitely have a look at that. And notifications. So notifications are, again, very personalized. So if you don't want to receive notifications from your emails, but you do for calendar reminders, you can customize some of those things so you can stay focused. So I know me personally, I have no notifications on emails on my desktop or Outlook because it can be a distraction, and I schedule time to go to that. So configuring those accordingly is really helpful to minimize distractions. Efficient communications. So bringing together Outlook and Teams. They're quite heavily integrated now. So the calendar that you see in Teams is the same one that's in Outlook, although there are some different features and look and feel. But using these two together will really boost your communication and collaboration. More often than not, we use Outlook for external vendor communication, whereas we use Teams primarily for internal communication. So sometimes bringing those two pieces of information that might come from different places together is important, but Outlook is aware of this and it's been able to streamline it. So integrating Microsoft Teams with Outlook, you can see it here. You can schedule Teams meetings directly from Outlook, and it gives you all the same look and feel features that you're used to with your Outlook calendar. It can set up those virtual meetings, whether it's internal or external, and allow you to send out the calendar invite, create recurrences, and do all the things that you would normally do. But it's attaching that Teams join link for everybody to make things simple. When you use this as well, when the calendar reminders pop up in Outlook, it will also allow you to join directly from that reminder, which can sometimes just shortcut how many clicks you need to do to get into and start a meeting. The other one that's really handy, that if you have got something that's been received by email, might be a vendor or a customer notification that you need to share with the team, the Share to Teams button is really helpful to be able to bring that communication directly in without having to just copy it and paste it, so that you can share it internally and put it in the right chat channel within your Teams environment that makes sense for everybody that needs to be aware of that. So really helpful to be able to bridge that information across. The next one we're going to talk about here is Teams and Outlook and how that can help. So one of the things that's been added to Outlook that was quite common with Teams that sort of come from Teams is the app mentions, so that you can bring attention to people in the email. When you do this, it'll bring them up onto the to field so that it stands out. And if you use the email preview in Outlook on your phone or on your Outlook in your Mac or PC, it also brings the preview where you're tagged to that preview. So there might be a couple of paragraphs of email that's ahead of it, but then when you're tagged, that becomes what the preview is. So it's just another way to bring attention to what has been made important to you by using the app mentioning and tagging people. It just makes it stand out as well. So collaboration on documents with Teams. So this makes it easy to work with a document when you've got an attachment. You can put that into a Teams channel where people can work together. It reduces the number of copies of a document. It can help with version controlling. It also helps with collaboration all in the one document at the same time, so that you can do co-authoring. We have run a webinar on that earlier in the piece. So if you do have a look for that one, we have one on co-authoring. It helps you work multiple people on a single document. So definitely have a look at that. A unified search. So the unified search in Teams and Outlook allows you to look for different things, emails, chats, files, people that you need to find information quickly. By using these sort of capabilities, you can really enhance how you're finding and communicating with your team. The tools are designed to work together, and they have different sort of purposes, and some of those things are going to be up to you to decide what's going to be most efficient for your working culture in the business. But they do allow for a greater level of collaboration. So, and they can be used on the go. So you can use the Teams app or the Outlook app on your mobile device or your desktop device. So keeps everything uniform in that sense. And with that, we have come to the end. So if you have any questions, let me just check the Q&A over here. Let's see if we've got anything. So how can Outlook and Teams together save my business time? I mean, choosing which format you're going to use is going to be critical. So using them together can really help. So jumping between different apps for email, calendar, scheduling, Teams, chats, and handling everything from that unified platform makes things a lot easier. Scheduling meetings, sharing documents, just streamlines everything. One thing you do need to decide though is where you're going to focus that communication. And it became really apparent probably around 12 months ago when Microsoft Teams had an issue where we couldn't log in. And that really impacted our workflow because we use our phone system, our calls are received via Teams, and also are into team chat. So we reverted to email. It became really obvious really quickly that you can't have a conversation in an email thread when you've got 10 or more people communicating in there. So it's a good backup method, but you really want to choose where you're going to communicate and how to be most efficient. So the threading a chat is definitely better for internal teams, but sending externally, email might be better for record-based conversations. So, what's the advantage of accessing Outlook on my phone compared to using it on my computer? Um, your computer's probably a lot bigger and heavier, so carrying that around with you wouldn't really help. So having Outlook on your phone means that you can have the same level of access, staying on top of emails, calendar, and access to your contacts wherever you go. So if you do need that, it makes it a lot easier to be able to access them. Really just depends whether you need to be productive when you're on the go. So definitely have a look at that. And last one we have here, hopefully, is integrating Teams with Outlook for work or for a small team, or is it just for bigger companies? I think it's the companies of all sizes and teams. So, bigger companies will just have smaller teams, and it really comes down to how effectively you want to communicate within that team. You might not need Microsoft Teams if you're always in one office, in one physical space, and communicating with each other. But if you're dispersed in any way, or you have people that might be in and out of the office, it can help people keep in touch with it. So I think Outlook works well for one-to-many communication or external, but Teams is better for having everybody together. But having it all within these two platforms means that everything stays together and it's all in one place. So what I don't want to do is potentially have a third-party platform that you're going to use like a WhatsApp or a Skype or something like that. That means some of that information will flow outside the bounds of your security of Microsoft 365. So it's important to try and use those together where the tools are, even if they're not quite what you want from them. There's other things that you may not be factoring in, like security, to consider. So definitely consider that. All right, and with that, that is all we have time for today. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully, you got something out of it. Please get in touch with us if you would like to hear on a particular topic. Otherwise, we will see you at the next one. Thanks.